I'm Nedra Knurk, and I want to welcome Dr. Joseph Fleishman, Associate Vice President of Instruction with Texas Southmost College. So welcome to our Futura RGV discussions on pandemic lessons learned. Now, Dr. Fleishman and the Texas Southmost College Workforce Development are offering a disinfection training program, which is providing individuals valuable skills needed for jobs in the workforce as it deals with COVID-19. And first, I want to thank our sponsors, our Futura RGV sponsors who support these community meetings. And this discussion and those of other Valley leaders will be on the Futura RGV Facebook page, YouTube, and social media for further viewing. Now, Futura RGV moderator Felipe Salinas will discuss with Dr. Fleishman, what are we learning as we deal with these COVID-19 pandemics? And now, Felipe, I will turn this over to you and Dr. Fleishman to learn about the Texas Southmost College Disinfection Training Program. Felipe.
Thank you, Nedra. Hello, Dr. Fleishman. Thank you for joining us today.
Good morning. It's a pleasure to be here.
Great, great. You have a very colorful background, so that's helping us get the day started.
That'll cheer us up.
As Nedra said, you're Associate VP in Workforce Development at Texas Southmost College. Can you tell us a little bit about what your role is there, a little bit about yourself and your department at TSC before we start talking about this particular program?
Absolutely, and thanks for letting us lay the foundation. My role at Texas Southmost College as the Associate Vice President of Instruction for Workforce Training and Continuing Education is to remain focused on the needs of our business and industry. So my goal is to ensure that the college is offering the types of programs, non-credit programs. These are typically classes that do not lead to a college degree. They do not earn college credit, but a student earns a valuable industry-based certificate that leads directly to employment. So a typical example would be our insulation program, which concludes this week. That's an industry credential. It's a 2-week program, again, short-term training, no college credit. And the individuals who will complete this training will go directly to work into the workforce, starting at about $60,000 a year. So we find as a college, when we align ourselves correctly to the needs of industry, that it gives our students a way to enter the workforce in a non-traditional, non-degree related area.
Great. So I would imagine that this course that we're going to mainly talk about today wasn't on your course offerings at the beginning of this year, given its title. So in a nutshell, can you tell us a little bit about the purpose of this program, and what is covered in it for a business that would like to sign up for it?
I would love to. And you're right, Felipe, this course wasn't on our radar in February, but a funny thing happened in March. And that is that, of course, the country found out that we were having to deal with COVID-19. And immediately, as a college and as our leadership team looked at the impact that COVID was going to have on our business and industries in our region, we asked ourselves a fundamental question. What's it going to take for our business and industries to be able to reopen safely? What's it going to take for our businesses to be able to open their doors in such a way that our customers can come back and start doing business? How do we get our economy rolling again where our customers feel safe doing business? And so that, that's our role at the college, and workforce training and continuing education is to look at the future and position ourselves accordingly. So the very first question out of my boss's mouth is, Joe, when do we get the programs going that we can share with industry so that we can deal with this COVID issue and keep the Rio Grande Valley economically alive and thriving? First issue came up, well, we definitely need to learn how to disinfect a space so that individuals can, one, work in that space safely, and customers can come in and shop in that space safely. So that's what drove our thought. So we opened up an 8-hour, we worked with, immediately reached out to the hospitals, and we worked with the Valley Baptist Medical Center, the infection specialist there. We reached out to Dr. Rodriguez with the Cameron County Health Department. We have an amazing partner in the Alliance Safety Center. The college partners with the Alliance Safety Center, which is the second largest safety center in the United States. And they're a part of us now, or I should say we're a part of them through our collaboration. And we leveraged the information from the CDC to develop one of the country's first online COVID-19 disinfection specialist programs. And we made it available with our partnership through the Alliance Safety Center to businesses so that they could access this training online. And here's what's important about it. The COVID-19 Disinfection Specialist program prepares individuals to understand what PPE, the personal protective equipment that they need in order to deal with COVID. A person needs to understand what kind of mask do they need, what kind of eye protection, what kind of gloves, what kind of gowns, how do they protect themselves when they go to do battle on a daily basis with COVID. The second thing it does is it prepares them to identify the various surfaces that they're cleaning: wood, steel, tile, glass, fabric. Each surface is a different animal altogether. And you have to have a strategy and a method for cleaning each one correctly. The third thing it does is it prepares them to adequately document what they've done, to execute that cleaning, and then create a plan for finally how they dispose of that material. You know, this isn't like a foodborne illness where you come in with a rag and you wipe it down and you put your rag in a bucket and you're good. You've actually created hazardous waste when you pick up COVID and you have it in that. So now how do you get rid of that rag? How do you dispose of that rag so that somebody isn't harmed by the very items that you've collected and then accidentally just thrown in a trash heap or a garbage can or whatever? So PPE, what PPE do you need? How do you use it? What services are you working on? How do you disinfect those areas? That's a big difference between cleaning and disinfection. And finally, how do you dispose of that material safely so no one is harmed? Well, that's all delivered in an 8-hour online class. And when you're finished, you have to take an examination. And secondly, you have to take a visual evaluation. We will log in. You will log in and we will evaluate your ability to don your PPE correctly, identify your surfaces, clean those surfaces, and dispose of those and that equipment. That's a visual check for us.
And that's like through a Zoom connection or something like that.
That's sir.
So you observe the person who's got the training to be sure that there's like a skills check that they're doing it correctly.
Yeah, you not only take an assessment or a test that tells you, do I understand the theory and the knowledge behind COVID preparation, but can I physically perform the functions of doing this job? Because the reality is this is a life and death situation. We can't afford, and we don't want to certify a person or give a certificate from a person that says, hey, you know how to do this, when you don't. We want you to be safe, just like we want your businesses and your customers to be safe. So here's what happens when a student finishes one of these training programs. The student receives a certificate of completion from the college. The businesses receive 3 things. One, we send to businesses decals. So if a business sends one of their individuals for disinfection specialist training, when that student completes or that employee completes that training, the business gets a decal that they put in the window that say disinfection specialist trained. That way, as a customer, I can look at that door, I can look at that window and know that's a safe place for me to go into. A safer place for me to go into than a business that didn't do anything.
Sure.
the business also gets a certificate of Disinfection Specialist 19 training that they can display on the wall. So if you missed it coming in, you can see it on the wall, just like you see that health code of an A, so you know they're clean. And the other thing that the business gets, the third thing, is we send them a series of table tents that they can put on the tables, they can put on the registration, on the registers, so that customers going in can learn, hey, this business cared enough about my safety to train their people to keep me safe.
Sure.
So the college has 3 key disinfection programs. We have the Disinfection Specialist program. That's made for anyone who has an employee, anyone who has a place of business, whether it's a big room, a small room, or a building. You have to keep the area disinfected. Whether you have 1 employee or 1,000 employees, you need a disinfection specialist to stay safe. We have employee safety training. So the disinfection specialist is an 8-hour class. The employee safety is a 2-hour class, because we need to be training our employees. What can they do to protect themselves? It's not enough just to have a disinfection specialist keeping it clean. I need to know, what can I do to take ownership from me as well? And the third product that we've developed, it's an 8-hour program as well, is operational planning. I think it's safe to say, Felipe, most managers, most supervisors, they didn't have COVID on their radar either in March. So if you ask them, what's your operational plan to bring your people back safely? They go, well, I want to do it. But the operational planning says, this program teaches you how to develop a plan that takes into account staffing, customer flow, disinfection, getting your people, everything you need to consider to make sure that your people are safe and your customers are safe.
And that last course, so if I understand correctly, you have the 8-hour training for the disinfection specialist, which can be an employee at a business that gets that training to oversee the actual disinfection. You have a 2-hour course for regular employees just to understand what their role is in all of this. And then it sounds like you have a management training for operations. And on the management training operations part, my follow-up question is basically, at the end of that, or does the manager, whoever goes through that training, do you give them the building blocks so they can think through and have their plan to how they're going to return to business or change the way that they're doing their return to business?
That is a great question. And just like we want to in the disinfection specialist program, just like we will observe that employee modeling the behavior that they will use every day to protect themselves and others, the supervisors or leaders or managers or owners of a business who take the operational planning will turn in their operational plan for that business at the completion of the course. And that way we can look at it and go, you're good to go. Hey, let's take this into consideration. Again, everything we're doing in our disinfection courses is designed to ensure that the employees, the individuals, actually have the skills to do the job. That's a critical component, keeping people safe.
Yeah, which is really true of any kind of workforce training, continuing education program. It's not just accumulating knowledge; it's actually learning how to practice something, how to actually do it. Correct.
Now, Felipe, there's an interesting question that I get from businesses all the time who are very, very interested in taking care of their employees and customers. And I have to say, at the Rio Grande Valley, I have been so impressed with the level of concern, the proactive nature of our leaders in this region to ensure they are the best employers possible. But they've asked the question is there any help financially for this training? Because it's not in my budget.
Right, correct.
So I want to tell you that we work very closely with the Texas Workforce Commission, and the college recently applied for and received a $250,000 COVID-related training grant. And that's not the exact name of it, but I'll tell you what it does. It provides training dollars to eligible businesses so that we can train, the college can provide training to their employees at no cost to that business. Now, there are some eligibility requirements. There are. And
I was going to ask you about that. Yeah.
yeah, the simple. I'll give you a couple of them. The company has to have a tax ID number, and they have to have paid their state employment taxes. They can't be a nonprofit, and they can't be a county or city government. But the best thing to do, if you're a business and you would like to get your people trained,
Okay.
give
So
us a call. Yeah, call us at 956-295-3724, or send us an email at wtce@tsc.edu, and we'll get a hold of you and work with you to determine your eligibility. If you're eligible, we will write the grant for you. We will deliver, we will get you registered. We'll do everything for you so that your people can just take the training and get the knowledge. But again, call us at 956-295-3724, or email us, wtce@tsc.edu.
Okay, we'll try to get that up at the end of this program also. We'll try to put that up. So just to confirm, another follow-up question I have is the training is offered online. Is this on demand, or do you schedule classes that, for certain period at certain times, people to sit in on them?
On the disinfection specialist programs, all of the programs that we run through our partnership with the Alliance Safety Council, that would be disinfection specialist training, employee safety, and operational planning. Those are all on demand. If you're an individual, you can take that on your phone, your iPad, your laptop, your PC. You can take it at home, as convenient as we can possibly make it.
And then the follow-up skills check, where that has to be scheduled, right, at a time that is.
We will reach out to you and schedule a time for our evaluators to go over that information with you, right? Okay. Then when you finish the training, you finish the test and the evaluation, we will mail you your certificate, and we will mail the businesses their decal, their certificate, and their table tents. And Felipe, the first thing, the next thing that happens once we started dealing with the COVID related, here's how we open our businesses safely, is we've had businesses come back to us and say, Joe, fundamentally, things have changed in the business world, and we need some help in dealing with our customers. What do you have for that? And I have to tell you, we have some excellent programs for those as well, all available online. So I guess here's what kind of set the stage for me. I walked in several months ago. I walked into one of our local stores, and I couldn't help but notice there was this barrier. There was a 6-foot mark, 6-foot things on the floor, right? There's all these glass impediments, plexiglass impediments to keep us safe. The employees are in masks. The customers are in masks. We're 6 feet apart, and the customers weren't even looking at the employees. They were trying not to look at the employees while they're talking through this mask, and you couldn't hear what was coming from the other side of the plexiglass. And you realize just how difficult it is to conduct business. People don't even want to engage with you. And when they do, very, very difficult. It's stressful to everyone. It's stressful to the customers, the employees. So we reached out, and again, one of our wonderful partners that we have at the college, Leadership Empowerment Group, works with the college, and they have a series of classes: stress management during COVID, strategic planning, how to lead teams in a virtual environment, which is totally different than meeting face to face.
Face to face, yeah.
It's a whole new skill set. How do you strategically lead teams and build dynamic communication channels at a distance? Leading during times of transformation, boy, it's a business etiquette in COVID. How do you do it? So we have conflict management in the workplace with COVID, dealing with difficult customers, dealing with customers who don't want to engage. We have a whole line of classes like that for our businesses as well, because they've got to retool their customer service skills. Not only do they have to be safe, but they need those skills, and those are all covered under the grant as well.
Well,
so when
I was about to ask for that. Yeah. was about to ask that too. So business wants to take some of these other courses that you've developed. There is financial assistance available for those.
Absolutely.
Also.
So learning how to lead in customer service during a time of COVID, those are completely different skill sets than what we had in January of 2019.
Sure. Wow. Well, it sounds like the college has done a crash course in how to put all this out, and you're to be commended for being able to pivot like that and respond to some of these needs, and then build on it by offering these additional courses for our local businesses.
If you don't mind, I'd like to comment on that. You're right. We're in a Texas Southmost College is in a very unique situation. Our board of trustees recognized that we needed to have the resources to get these programs up and operational, and immediately ensured that we had whatever it took to get the job done. Our president, we're very fortunate in that President Rodriguez and Dr. Kyle, Dr. Kyle is the vice president of instruction. Both of those individuals have a strength and a history of workforce training. That's their background. Mm-hmm. So when something like this came about, our board of trustees got on immediately. Our president said, Joe, this is one of the most important things we're going to do in our region for years. Mm-hmm. Get active. And of course, then we were able to mobilize the entire college to get these things happen. It has been a college initiative. We've not wanted for resources to get this done. And I appreciate that. And I want our community to know our board is looking out for the people of the Rio Grande Valley.
And I understand, just to kind of pivot back to just to clarify one other point, the college is based in Brownsville. Your academic offerings, I know that there's geographic restrictions where people can take the classes because you're locally based, you're locally funded. But this is not applied to these kinds of trainings, right? These are open to any business, no matter if they're in Brownsville or Cameron County or Hidalgo County or wherever in the Rio Grande Valley. Is that correct?
That's correct. The COVID has transcended the traditional geographic boundaries.
Sure.
Secondly, having all of these programs available online means that the college can go to wherever there's a link to the internet. So we are working very closely with the Workforce Solutions Boards from Laredo, Texas, through Harlingen, all the way down through Cameron. So yes, if you're anywhere in the Rio Grande Valley, give us a call. We'll help you determine if you're eligible. We'll help you assess what you need for training, and then we'll get you online to get that training going.
Okay, great. Well, I had a whole list of questions and you covered them all with me not having to ask a whole lot of them. So we were on the same page. So I do appreciate that. I think that pretty much wraps it up. It sounds like, TSC has responded in a way that is offering, our understanding is it's the only, the disinfection training is the only one of its kind here in the Valley. And it sounds like perhaps you're rolling out other similar programs to build on that, which is very commendable. So thank you very much for making this information available to our viewers today. We will try to get the phone number and the email and your website and your email address up at the end of this program. So when it does air, people will have a chance to actually see it. But thank you so much, Dr. Fleishman, for joining us today.
It is a pleasure. And again, I want to congratulate the tremendous work that our business leaders are doing throughout the Rio Grande Valley. Mm-hmm. And I want you to know, the college has your back. The college has your back. We want you to be safe. We want you to be profitable. And we're here. Just give us a call and we'll do anything and everything in our powers to help you get back up to speed and get our economy going safely.
Thank you so much. Nedra, I'll turn it back to you.
Okay, and Dr. Fleishman, I am so grateful for the quality of people and resources such as yourself that we have in the Rio Grande Valley. We are a very strong community. We're a strong Rio Grande Valley, and people like you are what make it so special. So thank you very much. And anything we can do to help get your message across, we certainly want to do. So thank you very much, and we will say goodbye.
Have a good one. Goodbye.